Hey all, my name is Chetwin Osborne, and I'll be taking you on a short journey today to identify the biological, physical, and human components of Mountain View Park, located on Hummingbird Drive, Belmopan, Belize. Taking a holistic approach to landscape ecology is important that the biogeo and human science is considered. Additionally, holistic landscape ecology aids in solving problems associated with landscape planning and management. Therefore, if the Belize City Council has any intentions of developing a new management system for Mountain View Park, they should commence with a holistic landscape ecology survey. The environment is made up of three components, namely physical, biological, and sociocultural. These three interconnected components are a part of the human environment, and the sociocultural component is a unique feature. Therefore, site characterization in the context of Mountain View Park has to take into consideration both the natural environment and human environment. The shared connections between the natural environment and human environment has to be assessed in order to fully understand the characteristics of this park. Developing an understanding of the connections within biophysical subsystem and human subsystem and how these subsystems are related aids in the determination of ecosystem linkages. The natural environment refers to the Earth's natural surroundings situated in this park, such as the trees, soil, grasses, insects, birds, squirrels, microorganisms, dogs, and horses. The human environment refers to the man-made surroundings, such as the basketball court, concrete pavilion, light poles, energy networks, metal swingers, and concrete benches, which altogether provide a means of recreation and convenience for humans. The human environment is complex and dynamic, so the existing characteristics of this park currently may not be the same 5 years from now. Possibly within 5 years' time, the basketball court may extend to accommodate more people due to a growing community population. The capacity to comprehend and deal with landscapes as an integral part of the physical, biological, ecological, and sociocultural processes determines the strength of holistic landscape ecology and the fate of our total human ecosystem. The landscape of this park provides a means of recreation through sports, exercise, and other forms of fun activities, and economic growth through parties and basketball competition for humans. Also, the central location of this park between the Belmopan Main Road and Hummingbird Drive community is an ideal shortcut for community members living along Hummingbird Drive. This sort of constant trampling by humans can possibly damage vegetation, and certain areas become scarce of natural vegetation over time. Tree and grass vegetation of this park provides habitat and food for birds, insects, and squirrels. The electrical wires installed by humans to generate power and lighting for this park provides crossing for squirrels and allow birds to perch. However, humans tend to throw their basketball shoes onto the electrical wires, and this forms an intrusion for squirrels crossing along this path. The swingers situated in this park provides a means of recreation for children and adults, and also the concrete benches provide some amount of seating arrangements for humans that basically use this park. However, the constant use of the swingers and these benches introduces a high level of trampling by humans, and this eventually results in vegetation damage, and in certain and over time the vegetation becomes scarce. Cutting of paragraphs by humans to keep in a suitable state for their use result in loss of habitat and food sources for squirrels, insects and birds, and stunting of natural vegetation growth. This can possibly lead to sparse distribution of some canopy trees in certain areas of the park and dense distribution of canopy trees in other areas of the park. And this sort of variation in distribution of trees is owing in part to the human subsystem in terms of maintenance of Mountain View Park. Underlying soil provides habitat for microorganisms which aids in nutrient cycling. Regular human activities in the form of trampling from people, horses, and car tires results in the removal of leaf litter, compaction, loss of organic material, increased runoff during the wet season, and increased erosion. These negative attributes of trampling affects soil organisms, nutrient cycling abilities, and eroded soil may lead to habitat loss, species loss, loss of soil, nutrients, and disruption of nutrient cycling. This basically shows the linkages within sub-biophysical systems. Even though bins were installed by humans as a means to mitigate littering, people still tend to leave trash in poor areas around the park. This can be ingested by dogs, squirrels, birds, and horses, thus causing harm to these animals. Possible pollutants due in part to human activities, for example gasoline, oil, and coolants from cars, on parkland may run off into nearby drain during the wet season and possibly affect aquatic biodiversity. A phenomenon of this nature is not evident at the moment at this park due to the dry season, and as you can see, the drain is dry. It is important to consider seasonal effects whenever you're characterizing a site. Basketball court facilitate games and this increases human activities in the park, thus increase littering. The concrete basketball court is also smothering microhabitats. Human vandalism of the pavilion in Mountain View Park affects their own seating arrangements during basketball games. These effects can possibly trickle down to biological components of this park, whereby the broken concrete slabs smothers some habitats and affect the natural vegetation growth. The flat layout of this park is ideal for parties. Music will possibly give rise to noise pollution, which affects animals, and littering may increase due to heavy circulation of food and drinks. The flat landscape of grass and compact soil is ideal for persons to exercise, walk their dogs, and horse ride. Constant activities of this nature can possibly damage vegetation, for example, tying horses on live trees and horse grazing. The presence of cars in this park can release different gases like carbon monoxide and sulfur oxide while engine is running, and this can affect the health of animals therein and create smog which decreases air quality. Also, the carbon monoxide that is being released from the car can even influence the carbon cycle of this park, since it's introducing a greater amount of carbon dioxide of carbon into the atmosphere. The dominance of humans on Earth warrants the need for effective management of our activities. In the context of this park, we need to understand the connections between the human environment and natural environment to manage our activities in this park effectively. Therefore, humans and their cultural, social, and economic dimensions have to be an integral component of this park ecological hierarchy. The total human ecosystem houses ecosystems, communities, populations, and organisms. The interactions between these systems gives a good indication of Mountain View Park holistic landscape ecology. The holistic total human ecosystem landscape conception of Mountain View Park opens the way for a more comprehensive view of this dynamic landscape as part of biological and physical evolution. In closing, taking a holistic approach which incorporates biological, physical, and human components of the ecosystem is important for the classification of this park or any other site to get a thorough understanding of landscape ecology. Thank you.